Right, anyway, come on. I gotta go.
Right,
to
okay,
this
yeah,
shit
let's get it
after
started.
Let's
Okay.
do this.
Hello. Hello, and welcome to our second episode of the Unwanted Opinions podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm your host, Les Gibson, and I'm joined once again by my good friends, Kyle
hello.
and Gonzalo.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm still recuperating.
Yeah, after nonsensical
No,
ramblings of
no, from the film I
Pretty sure.
watched.
the film.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Right. So
Man.
anyway, we have a really packed show today. You know, we're going to be talking about the status of cinemas today. Why are people getting disinterested in them?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, can they sustain it? Is streaming the future? So many questions. Do I have the answers? Probably not.
The answer, it's a mouse.
It's a mouse.
It's a mouse.
So that'll be our part one of the show, and then we're going to go
Yes.
into movie news that Kyle has organised for us today.
Yep.
And then we're going to carry on with the main discussion. And then the final part of the show, me and Kyle have got a bunch of film reviews today. We've got reviews for Marry Me, Texas Chainsaw, The Duke, and The Wheel of Fortune in Fantasy.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
We'll just move into it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I posed the question to you guys earlier in the week. And I suggested earlier in the week,
Yesterday.
it's Monday.
Yeah, you posted it yesterday.
Earlier in the week, yes. As
Life is a
early as
constant
possible. 1 a.m. Monday morning, he posed a question.
Yeah.
And today, Monday night, we will answer it because it's three guys that are going to answer this question that a lot of people are concerned about.
Three professionals.
one day.
Gonzalo.
Well,
Professionals.
Two
yes.
professionals and you.
Who's the one with the degree?
The film degree,
The
that's
film
true,
degree.
that's true. I mean, I am the least qualified here.
I
In all sense.
I guess.
Even when I do get a degree, it's the
Yeah.
one that's least
mean-
connected to film.
Oh, that's
Put
true.
yourself
Mine
down
is
there.
tangentially
Film
related.
studios need accountants.
That's true.
There you go.
I mean, they do because
They do
Black
very
Widow
much.
cost 200 million, and it did not have a 200 million.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Someone's gonna count
Anyway,
that.
the main question on today's show is:
Yeah.
Is the interest in cinemas dwindling? And
Hmm.
should we just have a simple yes or no answer? I'm going to say yes.
I
Let's
was,
just
I
end
was,
the show.
I was also going to say yes.
You're going to say
I'm
yes.
gonna say
Uh-huh.
yes. Yeah,
And
it's
Gonzalo?
been happening for a while. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
been happening for a while.
And if you remember,
sure.
if you remember correctly,
Mhm.
cinema was meant to be saved by Tenet, and it did not.
Hey, that made
Wait, was that a thing?
It genuinely
that
was.
actually
The
a
marketing
thing?
for Tenet was like, get back to the cinema.
Yeah, it
wasn't
was. It was.
There's that great
Okay.
video of Tom Cruise going, fantastic, great, I love it.
No, anyway, I should
Honestly,
probably preface this idea because a lot of people will be like, "What are you talking about? Spider-Man's one of the biggest films ever made. Made 1.8 billion at the global box office without China.
Yeah.
Really big thing.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
And so why are people saying this all the time? Well, I guess if you look outside the parameters of some of 2021's films, not a lot did well. You know, even your other big tempo films, your other big Marvel films, did adequate, I'd say, at best.
That's true, but if you remember rightly,
Uh,
Marvel was held about 30%
Mm.
of the domestic box office for 2021.
That's true.
so basically a third.
Yeah,
Almost a third.
almost a third
Yeah.
of the domestic box office. I mean, I could be wrong, it could be
Mhm.
more. It could have been
Mhm.
maybe 40, but it was at
So-
least 30%.
I mean,
But
of
the
course.
question here,
sorry.
because like obviously we're all talking about like how the pandemic affected cinema,
Mhm.
but I'd like to I think personally that it was already dwindling before that.
Really?
I don't think the
Okay.
pandemic killed cinema. I think it was already going down in numbers in audiences already. Not like, again, we see outliers like Endgame, one of the highest grossing movies of all time, blah blah blah. Like you see some outliers, but I think cinema was coming to our homes, like has been for a while. Since the advent of just like DVD and video players, like you've started to see people revisit film more and more in the comfort of their own home, and cinema was just like the big entrance to then introduce these movies to the public. Whereas like when it originated, like cinema was the only way to see these movies. So like the having a second option and a second way of seeing a lot of this kind of film, I think already started like it's very slow downfall of cinema, if you can call it that, and
Yeah.
the pandemic just accelerated it like crazy.
Well, yeah, it's that's obviously a major point. Everyone would be like, well, the past 2 years don't really count in terms of box office because
Yeah,
restrictions in other countries. Some cinemas were
of
closed
course,
Yeah.
for
of course.
long periods of time.
Spain was in lockdown for almost half a year.
hmm
Mm.
I mean, but then what that has then caused is that because, well, mainly I'm going to focus on 2020 because mainly throughout that entire year cinemas were not open, and what has like you said accelerated the process because now you have people now into certain habits. You have people who would usually casual cinema goers would be like, you know what, I like watching it on my TV. I like being at home. I'm used to the streaming thing.
Well,
I think I'm just going to do that from now on.
I've got point on top of the kind of idea you're talking about
Yeah.
here. And back to my previous point, I'm
Mm.
going to bring up the mouse because I genuinely think Disney had a huge thing to play in it. Because no, listen here, right?
Okay.
March 24th, which
Okay.
was officially the day the UK went into lockdown,
Yeah.
was also the day Disney Plus was released. Right?
Yes.
I know. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy theory there or not,
It
but
was
anyway.
Disney who
It was
made
Disney,
the lockdown
but-
happen. Yes.
But the fact is, but now, right, because of Disney, the streaming service, I mean, it did successfully well, Disney Plus. I know most films are connected, are going to come out on Disney Plus a few months after release.
Yeah.
Like, if you look
Yeah.
at it, I think it was Shang-Chi
Mhm.
had
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
2 month, like between
Oh,
the cinema
Black Widow,
and then
Black Widow released at the same time.
it was the same thing, but it
Almost.
did have a dual
Yeah.
release of at the cinema and then thing. But
Yeah.
Shang-Chi had a
Yeah.
2 month,
Yeah, 4 or 5 days. was it?
4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days.
Now,
Yeah, I
If-
watched it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it in cinemas.
and if you're like an average cinema goer or an average family person who maybe you're still kind of hesitant of going out to the cinema,
Yeah.
or if life's now picking up again and you're just getting busy,
Mhm.
and that one film a month you would go into the cinema, you now know, oh, if I wait another couple of weeks,
Yeah.
I can just see it when I come home.
No,
Yeah.
that's also leads into another really good point, and that is to do with the price.
Yeah.
If you have a big family, say you've got 2 or 3 kids,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
going to the cinema, how much does that cost if you're a family? You can get family
you can
tickets,
get
but that
family
can cost
tickets.
like 30-40
But
pounds.
still.
If we're looking
Yeah.
at like a group of 4 friends, adults, we're looking at 11 to 12 quid a
Yeah,
ticket.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's about
easily
10 euros here.
Yeah,
you
so-
know, to like just to get a cinema ticket.
40
So
quid.
yeah, you wait that 45 days, and you don't have to pay that money.
Mhm.
Basically, I mean, yes, you are paying for the
Yes,
service.
yes, you are paying for
but,
the service.
Of course, but you have a lot of more things there. You can watch it whenever you want. That's another big thing with like the cinema. So the way I see cinemas, like they're kind of like going the way of like operas and theater.
Yeah.
Like they're just like an event,
Yeah.
and unless you're going for that very specific event, it's better to just watch it at home. Like, I feel like going out to the cinema is a thing that you do, and you have to be like wanting to go out to the cinema. It's an experience, it's a thing. So like you don't just like go see every movie. You're like, oh, I'm really keen on watching this specific movie. For example, we see movies like Dune, like that's a cinema movie. But you're not gonna watch the next Sandra Bullock. I guess. Well, she doesn't really do a lot of corny movies anymore. But you don't go to see the
Jennifer
next
Lopez,
rom-com.
I was
Wait,
wondering,
yeah.
I was like,
feature.
wasn't Sandra Bullock in
Yeah,
that?
you don't really go to see that on cinemas
Uh-huh.
unless you're like
for
just
yourself.
hey, let's go to the cinema today. Let's see what's on. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that's the kind of movie you'd rather just watch at home with like popcorn. You don't really need a huge screen or anything. And nowadays, like big TVs are cheaper than ever because like back in the 90s, the guy with a huge TV was like the king of the block. Now everyone's got a big TV because with LED technology, they're getting cheaper and cheaper. And, you can recreate that same watching experience from your home. So, like, as a big family, like you said, you got 5 kids. Are you going to spend a lot of money
kids?
going to the
Whoa.
cinema, buying
Well.
popcorn for each one of them? Yeah, you, Lewis, personally have. 5 kids. Are you going to spend that money on popcorn and stuff, or are you just going to microwave some popcorn, sit down with the family, and watch a movie on Disney Plus, just the latest Disney movie, or even one they've seen 1,000 times, because it really doesn't matter. They're kids, you know?
Now, can we not think about back in the day? Would people not have thought the same about plays?
Oh, plays
Yeah.
are dying out. Oh, there's theories that
Because
go...
you can watch
Uh-huh.
plays at home.
Exactly. But then it's like, and
Can
also
you watch
if you look,
plays at home?
if you also look at, well, you probably can, like, stream them. But, like, it's also looking at the fact that if you move to a different type of media, music,
Oh.
everybody assumed vinyl would die out
Yeah.
and had a resurgence. DVDs, because now people collect 4Ks, Blu-rays.
Yes.
Is
But
it the same with
it's
cinema?
not the same.
Well, actually,
but it's not the same.
Oh, sorry, you're going to get into that?
No, just like vinyl is not the same. Like, you don't listen to vinyl all the time.
No.
You use vinyl as like this special thing. You only collect vinyl for the like songs that you like, the albums you know are special to you. Whereas like you used to have to collect every CD because otherwise you're not gonna hear it. So like it's like that's what I mean with cinema. It's not dying. I don't think it's ever gonna die. I think it's just going to become a more exclusive like experience, and going to the cinema is going to be part of like the thing. Not just I'm going to watch a movie. It's I'm going to the cinema. That's going to become like its whole thing.
Sorry.
You know.
It's interesting that because when video came out, people thought, "Oh, this is the death of cinema." Everyone's going to watch video and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And let me indulge you in my little film knowledge here.
Oh, here's the degree coming out.
Here's the degree. This is genuinely the degree. No, but when talkies came out, films with sound, there was genuinely film theorists who thought this is the end of cinema. Silent film is the only cinematic experience, and talkies, as they were called, are going to actually ruin the cinematic art, and no one's going to care anymore. So that was way back in the 20s and 30s.
I mean, 90 years later, Moonfall came out.
And Moonfall came out.
They were right. They were just a few decades off.
I thought you were going to say Uncharted.
Do you think... well, that's
Okay,
debatable. But anyway, do you think that there will be a decline in, like, the genuine audience going to cinema?
Well, it's interesting. Well, because
then you get films like No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Which absolutely destroyed it at the box office. Like, if I'm right in saying, is it still doing better than Spider-Man in the UK?
In the UK specifically, I think it's like the third highest grossing film ever.
That's incredible, right? For a film that got delayed so many times, right? And that I was assumed it would just never come out, to be fairly honest. And I remember exactly because Cineworld had stopped their spaced out seatings.
Oh yeah,
exactly for No Time to Die coming back.
That, It was
and
weird.
it was the first time I was in a packed cinema since a film late
Birds of
2019. Let's not go that far.
No, but actually, this is what, if you look outside the parameters of the big ones like Spider-Man and Bond and Fast and Furious, like Shang-Chi cost about 160 odd million to make, and it only made about 400 million worldwide. Eternals just broke even.
I mean, well, that
Black
time,
Widow.
I'm saying, right, that time we were still jumping in and out.
I don't know, Shang-Chi was September. That was the same time as
Yeah,
Bond.
but things were still kind of...
true.
You know?
I don't know, I'm
Well,
still...
that's true.
I
But
would be
Bond
interested
is kind
to
of
see.
like a legacy film, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it goes back to, like, what I mean, like, it's more of an event, and I think that's where cinemas have a place, as, like, a collective event of, like, going to see the new big thing. I think blockbusters are going to take over even more part of the cinema.
See, we now know there's a good few filmmakers that are very against modern blockbusters, okay?
Yeah, we do.
And I think, on that point, they have their place right now in cinema. It might be the thing, because I don't see them lasting forever.
You talking about superhero films?
Yeah, the superhero genre.
No, definitely.
Because
definitely not.
it will eventually move on. But
You
maybe...
saw the same thing with Westerns.
Yeah, exactly. Westerns.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe there could be...
superhero films not the same as westerns.
It's like it's a genre we're talking about.
As a genre,
but it's
there's a massive disparity. I could talk to you.
Okay,
I'm not going to go into
I
that. But there is
I know
a
the good and
whole-
bad, the ugly.
We can go into that.
like-
We can go into that. It's your show, Lewis.
No, it's a completely off-topic thing.
Anyway, I think maybe... I don't know if the kind of genre will help boost people back into the cinema and keep going. Because so many people want to avoid spoilers, which is maybe a lot of reasons why people go to the cinemas.
Yeah.
And if that keeps up, we'll maybe still get a nice constant stream of people coming to the cinemas. There's also the older population, like the retired and elderly who go and see films during the day.
Yeah. But that's also a problem with the pandemic, because it's stopped a lot of elderly people going to cinema.
It has, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but sure, I can imagine that. But I mean, like in our experience, mass, there was quite a few.
Yeah, I mean that was a very. I don't know even that was like 500,000 to make that film. Less.
Okay, right. Okay.
I mean that doesn't
come out.
I know, but I don't see many like older generations going right. Oh, fantastic! A new horror's out. Let's go.
No, obviously, but
I mean, I could be wrong.
You do raise a good point. That I actually want to. I've got a conflicting thought with you, Gonzalo.
Yes.
Is that you're saying it's going to be like the opera or the theatre? It's going to be a super expensive ticket. Well, maybe not.
No,
as
I'm
expensive.
saying it's going to transform.
Maybe not as expensive. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But it'll be in a big event thing. Yeah. And I think that's what the vast majority of films will. Well, there'll be fewer films, and I guess the big ones we go to see in the cinemas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually think smaller cinemas, independent cinemas, and indie films, I think those types of cinemas will just be another way for those films to be released. Like a streaming service, like a Netflix or an Amazon. It will exclusively be in art house cinemas.
Yeah. No, definitely. But that's like it's not like counteracting what I mean. Like I mean like the cinema isn't really dying. It's just evolving. It's not the main way of consuming media anymore, but it's its own thing. We can't compare watching a movie on Netflix to going to the cinema to watch the movie, because even though both of them are watching a movie, they are completely different experiences. And I think the main way we're going to consume media from now on is going to be through streaming services. But I think that cinemas are going to have a place. And like you said, there's going to be the big cinemas that have the big movies. And then there's going to be places like the DCA up in Dundee, more smaller art house cinemas that like play movies that you wouldn't see otherwise. They play movies from foreign countries. They play smaller indie releases. I'm still waiting for the cinemas version of Steam, where we just are able to see 1,000 different small independent films, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I generally, I don't think they're going to die. I think they're just going to change, and they have been changing for a long time.
So they're just going to adapt, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
There's another thing that actually we talked about well over a year ago, and it's to do with basically the budgets of these films, right? Because I remember the box office for Aladdin was roughly $1 billion.
And that was a good
Do you remember this?
Yeah, it was a good film.
It was a terrible film.
Sorry, right, quickly question. Yeah. Right, I'm going to give you 2 films. You tell me which one you'd rather see again.
Okay.
Aladdin or The Lion King?
Oh, I'd rather do a lot of things than watch The Lion King.
Okay, so it's not that bad.
But anyway, that film was roughly just over
it's a bad comparison.
right?
Yeah.
And that was more income for Disney than all the streaming subscribers that year in North America.
Well, right, so here, was Disney Plus out that year?
Yeah, for Americans.
Oh, so it was, yeah. But here's the thing, right, with streaming services.
Yeah.
That right now, most streaming services work on a deficiency, as in, like, they'll lose money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're charging so little. It will happen by, I mean, we saw Netflix have rising their costs in the US to, I think, $15. Right? It will be the time. There was a long time that TV services.
Creating a dependency.
Yeah, but for a long time, TV services like Sky cost more than streaming. It's going to switch. It's going to switch.
Of course, yeah.
And then it's going to be the same with Disney.
Do you think it has the potential to cannibalize itself then?
I don't know, but I think it's going to kind of like roughly. It's going to jump and then it'll kind of settle back down again. We're going to see. I mean, Disney already raised their prices last year when they introduced Star into European markets and other markets around the world. And you'll see that they'll slowly. I mean, it still works out very cheap. If you have 4 people in one account and you share it, it's still like £20 for a year.
Yeah.
Right? But then you're going to start looking at 10 years maybe that a Netflix account costs you £25 a year. Yeah. I do see these things rising. And that's why I'm thinking
there's going to be a point where like it'll eventually streaming services are going to be free. And the cost of them is just going to be I think there's going to be a point where they're just going to change the way that they monetize things. And
How do you
they're
get
going
money?
to-
Wait, sorry. Are you then saying that
Yeah.
the streaming service will be free, but then you'll have to pay to watch a film? Almost like
No,
a giant
I think
cinema.
I think they're just going to monetize your user information in different ways, but but there's got to be a point where they need to have enough traffic for that to be actually viable.
Right.
And
I better not be
monetizable.
halfway through The Power of the Dog and a pop-up for lonely single mums comes up during a really
Yeah.
pivotal scene.
Depends what you're
Yeah,
watching.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I really hope Netflix aren't putting those ads on.
Well, who knows what
Who
the future
knows?
holds,
Not.
Kyle.
I hope not.
Yeah, you
But
do.
who knows? Honestly, they pushed Squid Game really, really hard when they bought the distribution rights for it. So you can already see the power of influence that they have with those kind of things, and how much Netflix and Disney Plus are becoming part of our day-to-day life. And I don't know, seeing the ways other distributing companies like Facebook is pivoting with the whole metaverse kind of thing, where they basically just want to recreate the internet in order to, have you interact with them solely and no other company except for them.
Here.
I can see this going in that direction.
I'm gonna
This
jump
is a bit
in.
pessimistic.
I'm going to jump here, good pal.
Yeah.
Do you think, right, genuinely, if
Yeah.
technology advances and metaverse advances, and we basically hit Ready Player One, Sword Art Online sort of levels, do you think cinemas will just move into the online?
No.
No? Do you think there's still
I'll
going
tell
to be
you-
Depends.
I'll tell you
I
why
think you're
things
still
like-
gonna.
Sorry.
I mean, depends on how society thinks about human interaction at that point.
Yeah.
That's my main.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I actually, very, very side note here about the metaverse thing.
Yeah.
The simple task of having to put on this clunky headset.
Oh
stand
no,
there with
it's
two
crap.
controllers,
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah.
it completely negates it for people. No one wants to do that. See
The
how
thing-
simple
okay.
it is to go on the internet on your phone.
Yeah.
That's just immediate.
The thing with the metaverse, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's going to pan out. But
Yeah.
it's Facebook showing their cards.
Yeah.
It's showing us exactly what they want, and what they want is for us to non-stop, all our interactions that we do, both physically and socially, they want it to go through them. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked.
No, yes. Sorry.
but-
I actually want to circle
Yes.
back to what you were saying about streaming services being free one day, because isn't this just all going to be one massive cycle where the streaming services just become TV again, just with ads?
Yeah,
It could.
Yeah.
So
We keep just
what's the
following
point in
a
all of this?
cycle.
I mean, that's pretty much what it just keeps going. You can see it with the history of cinema. It goes from cinema to movies, to then movies being played on TV for people, and then those same movies being played on the digital services and stuff. And there's gonna, I mean, I'm not hoping for this, but I have a feeling somewhere in the future we're going to see creators be the one making the content and distributor companies being the ones just monetizing that. Sort of the same way we see things like YouTube or any type of social media, where there's going to be just a big distributor company monetizing from individual creators. Because the more access to technology and cheaper equipment gets, the more you can see people actually creating shows and movies and stuff.
Yeah, but
And I feel like
the monetization of YouTube,
yeah,
you can get rid
Yeah.
of that if you pay a subscription fee.
yeah.
So that was the...
So it's streaming services.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that's because they're trying to.
Yeah,
be
it's everyone's
Netflix.
opinion.
That's because they're trying to be Netflix. But I just have a
Anyway,
feeling this
okay.
is not a certainty. I have a feeling it's going to
Yeah.
go in that
Per-
direction.
pers-
I might be
per-
completely
personally,
wrong.
I think-
Honestly, we're talking about the future here, so I might be this might just be crap.
You may be absolutely right.
I think we should just bring back Blockbuster, and then everything will be happy.
La, la, look at
Everything
all
was
this.
happier when Blockbuster was around. Anyway,
I remember renting movies. That was a thing.
yeah, no,
Goddamn.
now we steal them.
So,
Side-sline into a
we're
bit of
going to
news.
put a bit of a hold in
Yes.
this conversation for a few minutes, because Kyle, our newscaster, is going to tell us what is the latest in the world of movies.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to the news with Kyle. You can put a wee jingle, I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't want to get bullied. Anyway, so I want to kind of briefly. There's one bit of news. Do you know what? I can't remember. I've lost track of the week.
Yeah.
and I can't remember when I'm looking at stuff. Did that come out? We never did. We never did news last week.
Yeah.
So basically, Stranger Things season 4 got announced,
Oh yeah.
or an announced date,
Yeah.
and it's split into 2 parts.
Yeah.
It is. I can't remember if they're doubling the length of the episodes or they're doubling the number of the episodes.
I think it's more episodes.
Is it more episodes? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Teased to be fantastic, obviously, as the last 3 seasons were, and it is announced that the 5th season will be the last.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And moving on.
Wait, 5th season will be the last or 4th season?
5th season will be the last. So this is the penultimate season,
Yeah,
but
it's like-
it's split into 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's really confusing.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
moving on. So into a bit of box office news. Uncharted gets 44.1 million at the domestic box office over the weekend, and it brought in a
Gonna
total of 52 million during the President's Day holiday, which I think is why we got it earlier.
Why did we
Because
get
because I
President's Day?
think they waited and launched on a holiday in the States,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I think is why we got it earlier.
I don't know why they just wouldn't release it. Anyway, regardless, that means it's worldwide. It's made about 130 million.
Which means we're probably
Plus
gonna
£20 that it's
get a
streaming this
sequel.
Friday when I go watch it.
Yeah, they're probably gonna make a
Yeah,
sequel.
we will talk about Uncharted next week once.
I think
Yeah.
it's estimated to be doing better than Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise got a sequel and that lost money.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will talk about Uncharted
One
next week.
Hearts.
We will hold our opinions on that.
Yes, because Gonfal hasn't seen it
Gonfal
yet,
hasn't
so we're
seen
gonna
it
wait
yet.
and review it next week.
I'm
But
sorry,
anyway,
guys. It's
so-
not out till this Friday.
Yeah. So moving on. I found this quite funny. Obviously, we got a new Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness trailer a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I can't.
Lots of theories.
Lots
we
of
can talk
theories.
about.
Obviously, one of the biggest theories was the voice of none other than Patrick Stewart possibly being heard during it.
Yes.
And
Xavier.
Patrick Stewart has been doing a bit of interviews for Picard season 2,
Right. Okay.
right? And I kind of forgot about that Picard show.
Yeah.
And he comments on it with I love it. So like people have been imitating my voice ever since I came on the stage 60 years ago. So he's doing the classic denying it.
I
But-
mean, he's in it.
I mean, he was 99%
He's in it.
confirmed. Ryan
I mean,
Reynolds.
if they're
also-
going to, if they're going to like put Professor X there and just hire someone to imitate his voice, that's just
that'd be funny.
no. That'd be really funny. Honestly.
Ryan Reynolds also denied being in it, but I actually never thought he was in it.
Yeah, I don't think
obviously.
Deadpool will be in it either.
Well, there's certain people out there, Lewis, who shall remain nameless,
Yeah.
who like to assume that everybody's in this.
To be fair, that's kind of what all the rumors are speculating, that anyone and everyone can be in this.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
we'll
it is
see
the
we'll see if
multiverse.
that actually works out well or if it'll just be terrible. Still kind of with Marvel, Robert Downey Jr. and the Iron Man 3 director, what was his name?
Shane Black.
Shane Black, thank you, are to unite on a film based on the Parker series, written by Donald E. Westlake. Now, the Parker series are, I think they're kind of crimey novels, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Is it Buddy Cop?
I don't know if it's Buddy Cop.
Because Shane Black and Robert Downey Jr. did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang
Yes.
in 2006 with Val Kilmer
And the nice guys.
and The Nice
which
Guys,
is also
well,
nice.
without Robert Downey Jr. But
Yeah.
And Iron Man 3.
and Iron Man 3. But
Sounds
Kiss
like
Kiss Bang Bang and The Nice Guys, brilliant
I
films.
liked Iron Man
Amazing buddy cop films. If you haven't seen Kiss Kiss
I don't
Bang
think I've
Bang,
seen it.
I think it's on Amazon.
Oh, it's really good. It's really
yeah?
good.
It's so funny. It's so
Okay.
good.
Shane
So
Black
good.
also wrote Predator, didn't he?
Well,
Oh,
moving on.
I think he
And
did. I
also
think,
the terrible remake.
I think he did Predator.
No, yeah, he did. He did the new Predator film that came out a few years ago. He wrote
Yeah.
and directed it.
But he also wrote
that
the
one.
original,
Yeah,
didn't
That
he?
no one saw.
The Predator.
The Predator?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
it's
that's called
really
I
bad.
think that's where
But he also,
Matt Reeves
if-
got
The
inspiration
Batman.
for the Batman. He was watching The Predator
Yeah.
and went, oof, hello.
No, but generally, I think he also wrote the original Predator because he's one of the guys who gets
yeah, he did.
killed in it.
He did.
Was it?
Yeah, he's credited.
Oh.
I think
Guy with the glasses?
uncredited.
Oh, I didn't know that. Moving on. You got to hear Baz Luhrmann.
Baz Luhrmann, yeah.
Baz Luhrmann's Elvis gets the trailer, starring Austin
Oh.
Butler and Tom Hanks. This is a very interesting trailer.
Is Tom Hanks playing Elvis? Because I haven't seen.
No. Tom Hanks, I
Okay.
think, is playing
'Cause that
Elvis'
would be
manager.
Yeah.
And Austin Butler plays Elvis, who seems to, I don't know, on face value, he seems to be doing an okay job. It seems to be going more down the Bohemian Rhapsody
Yeah.
than Rocket Man,
Mhm.
and being more of like
That's
a
sad.
true, to the
True-ish.
true-ish. But it seems to kind of follow Elvis Presley, obviously, for his early stages of his career, and it does seem to follow him. I think it's going to follow his life because, no spoilers, in the trailer he does get fatter.
Oh, right, so they're going to go right up to the end.
Like
right.
he like in the trailer he does show him like skinny in his prime, and then later
So-
down you do see him in the classic a bit chubbier
Yeah.
in the suit.
Yeah.
So it's gonna basically be like the classic biopic where it's just the Wikipedia article summed up in a movie.
I feel this will be trying to be like an Oscar grabber for next year.
Oh, yeah, and Tom Hanks, this is a message to you. Why are you following Jared Leto's footsteps in what he did in House Gucci? What are you doing?
Italian?
Why are you doing that accent? With that accent, Tom Hanks? Why is he doing that? He's a 2-time Academy Award winner. He doesn't need to do this.
Jared Leto's accent, and no, I'm not even going to admit it because it was
Tom
terrible.
Hanks, why are you in this? Anyway, moving on.
Moving on to the last wee bit. And the last bit of the news, going back to TV, is that the Peacemaker finale breaks the biggest single-day performance on HBO Max and is renewed for season 2. The viewership was up 44% from the premiere episode. I can't remember what the previous biggest watch on HBO Max was.
I know what it is.
Was it the Snyder Cut?
No, it was the Sex and the City reboot.
Oh, was it?
That was the most watched thing
Oh,
on
I
HBO Max.
didn't know that. But anyway, James Gunn, very busy man. Interested to see. I believe he's coming back to write and direct season 2 again. But
Because he's set free from his Marvel leash.
well, he's still doing the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas
Guardians 3.
special and Guardians 3.
Yeah.
He is, I believe there is definitely another Suicide Squad spin-off TV show happening.
Is there?
There's another character that's apparently getting their own thing. I think it might be Ratcatcher too.
All right, okay.
And I don't know. I don't think he'll be as involved, but I think he'll produce.
You know, I loved that Suicide Squad film.
Oh, it was amazing.
I really did.
It was
I
amazing.
thought it was the best
Amazing.
DC film in
incredible.
years, honestly.
Not much to compare. is
No.
there? You know?
Actually, Gonthal, did you see the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I did.
What
I
do you think?
enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen it like 3-4 times.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
that's
yeah.
very good.
Yeah, it's a very, very good movie, and it shows that sometimes when you just have a good director with a good crew and you let them do what they do best without interfering, they do good stuff. Yeah,
But that's a film
like
that
the
that's a
Snyder
film.
Cut.
Yeah, that actually leads us on to just kind of wrapping up our cinema discussion. Because that is a film that actually bombed. That lost a lot of money.
The Suicide Squad.
Oh
did,
yeah,
it did.
That
Yeah.
literally worldwide box office made its budget back. Just. Yeah.
But popularity-wise,
Yeah.
it was really big.
Yeah.
Which is weird because not a lot of people went to see it, but then it got a lot of traction.
Did the HBO numbers chuck up quite a bit? I'm guessing.
I think it was one of the top 5 most watched films on HBO Max.
I think
for sure.
HBO would.
But you know what? Mortal Kombat was the most watched HBO Max film.
And it's getting a sequel.
And it's getting a
Really?
sequel because of it.
I still yet to watch the Mortal Kombat movie.
Me too.
Don't.
I've not seen it.
I'm going to be completely honest. I skimmed most of the story and just watched the fight.
Like a true
I-
film critic.
It was more.
I forgot it
Mortal
existed after the trailer came out.
Kombat. It was Mortal Kombat. There's a trailer for Street Fighter 6, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
On fighting. But yeah, no.
Yeah, so just to kind of wrap up our cinema talk, what was I saying? Yeah, I my theory, I think we're going to kind of conclude with our own kind of personal theories. My theory is that actually, although I said yes at the start, is the interest in cinema dwindling? Yes, because I think we live in a very oversaturated world. You know, there's literally entertainment, you know, coming our ears. There's all sorts of entertainment you can follow.
definitely.
You can listen to us for entertainment. But at the end of the day, I think cinemas and streaming services will be able to kind of coexist quite well.
Yeah.
I don't know what will happen to things like medium budget films, like your $100 million budget films, your $50 million budget films. But when it comes to really low budget, like your indie stuff, I think there will definitely be a home for that with independent cinemas. And when it comes to your massive films, there's always going to be homes for that in your cineplexes and all sorts.
Gunfall, your opinion?
Yeah, I agree with Lewis. Honestly, the indie market is driven by passion. It does not care how much money it gets, and it does whatever the heck it can with what it has. So that's not going anywhere. And whether there's small cinemas to watch it, or there's some sort of streaming service that takes advantage of the indie market soon, it's gonna keep happening. And like you said, I think the only thing that's gonna be dwindling is the middle of the road kind of films, and we'll probably see those transported directly onto streaming services. You see a lot of really crappy comedies with like middle high budgets and on Netflix and stuff. And I think that's the new home of the average movie, and you're only going to get the huge releases and the huge blockbusters as well as in the films in cinemas. But again, I did say interest was going down. I agreed with all of you. I think interest is going down at what cinemas are now, and I don't think they're going to be what they are now for very much longer. But I do think they're going to pivot and become something else. I don't think they're going to disappear. They're just going to change. How about you, Kyle?
I think I have to agree with you guys. I really hope that... I know, Gonzalo, you said that you felt interest was dwindling before the pandemic. I hope it's a pandemic thing.
You think it will in the next couple of years?
I hope in the next couple of years it will kind of boost back up. A lot more people, especially that they're getting out of the house more, they'll think, let's go back and let's go watch this. This year alone, we're going to have a lot of films coming out because a lot of the back catalogue films are getting released. Maverick, Top Gun Maverick,
oh God.
you know, that's coming out. So hopefully that'll kind of relight people's passions for the cinema and actually going in and sitting down. And that's what I hope. And I really do think it will happen.
That's very optimistic of you, Kyle.
Well, you know, I just want to have my hopes up high for everything.
You know, actually, guys, before we move on and finish the reviews today, see that Michael Bay ambulance film? You know that how I was saying about those middle of the budget, $100 million type films?
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for that. Actually, looks like it could be quite fun.
Well, sorry, what? You said Michael Bay, I zoned out.
Michael Bay. It's a film called Ambulance.
Does it transform?
Yeah.
No.
Does he have lens flares?
Trust me. See
Half-naked
how we're
women
going to go
hovering the
into
bottom
next
of
week talking about Uncharted and things like bad CGI? Ambulance looks real as hell, and I love that stuff. That's a lot of car crashes and things.
Is it reused footage from the
trailer?
turret? What was it?
What?
You know, in the first Transformer film had like reused car crashes from other Michael Bay films.
No, I don't think it is reused.
Have you not seen that? Oh, that's brilliant.
I did not know that. That is pretty smart.
I'll say next month, Ambulance.
I
don't like Michael Bay, but that looks like fun.
Was it?
I don't like Michael Bay just because he makes me dizzy. The way he moves the camera,
That's true.
But maybe if that film is really successful, that those middling
Might
budget
ignite.
films can find a home.
He's not doing the next Transformers. is
No,
he?
he's done.
Oh, thank God.
Right. Anyway, moving on, we have
Yes.
a few film reviews to cover.
Reviews.
Yeah.
Reviews.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
That's
Oh
gonna
my
be the
God.
jingle. I'm gonna turn that into a jingle. That's 100% going.
There you go. That's our new segment. It's reviews. Reviews.
Yeah.
Reviews, yes.
you didn't
So
do it,
we've
mate.
got reviews for Marry Me, Texas
Gonna have a lot of fun
Chainsaw, The
editing.
Duke, and Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy. And
Arcane. And that's the TV show.
Another
I just really loved
time.
it. Sorry.
Arcane was so good.
Thank
Arcane was great, Arcane
you.
was great.
I could do a whole episode on the animation of Arcade. If you want to, guys.
Sorry, we just ruined it for
You're
Liz.
signaling the whole thing.
Honestly,
Oh.
though, I'm sorry. But
No,
honestly, that's an episode idea. You guys can talk about the film and the storytelling aspect of it. I can do a whole rundown on the animation and how they made it work and everything like that. Because it's
Before
incredible.
Lewis
So
cries,
much
we'll
fun.
go back into reviews.
6 years it took them to finish
I
that
said
show.
it was 4.
You lied to me.
Longer than I thought.
Liar! Right.
Anyway, so I'm gonna I'll be reviewing Marry Me, the new Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson romantic comedy. So Marry Me stars. Oh my God, I'm repeating myself. Cut this. Cut this. I literally have a script. Anyway,
This is for the patrons only.
this is for the Patreon. So, as I was saying, Marry Me stars Jennifer Lopez as mega superstar. Sorry, I'm laughing still. Kat Valdez, and basically, the plot of this film is quite remarkable. I'll give it that because
It's fun.
well, maybe not the word I'd use, but just listen to this, Gonzalo. Have you heard of this film?
I've watched the trailer. I wanted to
so you've
watch it
seen the
because
film.
it seemed
Great.
terrible.
The trailer itself is a masterpiece.
Actually,
of
there is
cinema.
actually a subplot.
It's
that
a
they don't
really good
reveal in the
trailer.
film.
Oh, okay. Ooh, there's spoilers.
They don't reveal the film.
I won't spoil what that is, but there's not much to spoil.
Wait,
I'll
sorry,
tell you
wait.
that. What?
They don't. There's a subplot they don't reveal in the film.
In the trailer.
Right. Okay.
In the trailer.
So yes, Kat Valdez.
It's only for the.
Kat
it's only
Valdez
for the
is
TV show.
destined to get married
Yeah.
to her boyfriend Bastian, and
Yes.
they've got this whole concert planned that's going to have millions of viewers, and they're going to get up on stage, sing their new hit single "Marry Me," and after that song's done, Bastian's going to propose, and they're going to live happily ever after. Meanwhile,
Coincidentally, Kyle's plan for his proposal.
you playing that?
To you, yes.
Oh well,
Yeah.
wonderful.
When I learned to sing.
Well, meanwhile, we have Owen Wilson. God, what's his name? Charlie. Yes, who's playing Charlie.
Wow.
Sorry, does he do a wow?
He doesn't do it well.
Aww.
Wow.
I know. I was looking at it for the whole time. He's playing this boring old maths teacher, divorced single dad, whose daughter thinks is no fun. So, in order to fix that problem,
Original.
I know. In order to fix this problem, because her new stepdad is all the rage, taking her on fun trips and things like that.
Yeah.
He's going to take her to the Kat Valdez concert. And what do you
Oh.
know? At the concert, just before Kat Valdez goes on stage to perform "Marry Me," she finds out Bastian's been cheating. Oh no!
No.
So once she gets up on stage, Charlie's holding this big placard with the song title "Marry Me" on it.
Yeah.
And what does she do? She picks him at the crowd and says, "I will marry you," and decides to marry Owen Wilson.
On
Come on,
stage.
tell me that doesn't.
Oh
sound
yeah,
like
they
a
get
fun
married on
plus.
stage. It's in the
yeah.
trailer.
Okay, I
Anyway.
no doubt.
So
That sounds like a fun movie. I didn't know it came out already. I was looking forward to seeing this movie. It sounds really dumb, but also really fun.
dumb, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Fun,
He's getting serious
no.
now.
No, look, Marry Me was a whatever film, I guess.
Yeah.
It was every cliche in the rom-com book was played out on this. It's everything you expect. I do think Owen Wilson actually, sadly, is really phoning it in. I don't think he's having a lot of fun with this.
I feel that
Oh,
I
that's
don't
not
feel
nice.
this is the one he would have chosen
No.
to do. Do you think this might be exact?
A contract thing, nah. Just got a big paycheck to do. Of course you do it. But
Oh yeah, sure.
as I say, it follows the exact
Loki
same
season
structure of
2 is
every
not coming
rom-com.
out for a while.
That's true. Yeah.
Every rom-com trope is done to death, and it just there's nothing really funny in it. None of the jokes land, and it's got this really stupid, like you said, plot, but it doesn't really kind of lean into it.
Do anything.
It's not
Oh,
tongue in
okay.
cheek or anything like that. It takes it quite straight faced, which is like why.
Why are you doing this?
Yes, exactly. Also, filled to the brim with product placement. There's a genuine stop the film so
Oh.
J-Lo can, do
Yeah,
a
I want
Betamax
to ask.
advert.
See, at the end of the year,
Uh-huh.
could we do like an award thing for worst product placement in a film?
Well, I'll tell you what, Kel, if you came to see Marry Me, whew,
Because there's a good
Oh,
few
yes,
that I'm
yes, yes.
thinking of,
Oh,
which
I
are
think
terrible.
so far, well, actually, the Uncharted one's pretty bad.
The car.
I haven't
not the
seen it
car.
yet.
Papa John's thing.
Oh, Papa John's.
That's
yeah.
pretty bad.
Moonfall
I think
Lexus.
the Moonfall.
Spoilers.
There's already some amazing contenders for
Oh
product
yeah,
placement of
sorry.
the year.
Papa John's shows
And it's
up in
only
the film.
February.
We should do
It's only
this.
February.
We should
We're
do
getting
this.
some
We should
incredible
do
product
this.
placement.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just.
I don't think we can, but I'd love to play the sound clips of the scenes you're talking about while
Oh,
we
yeah.
discuss them. That would be amazing.
But yeah, J-Lo's fine. The rest of the cast are fine. It is one of those things where you just kind of watch it and you just kind of like, I've seen this 100 times before, and
Yeah.
predictability is absolutely fine. I don't really care if
Yeah.
anything's predictable as
Yeah.
long as it's entertaining along the way.
Hmm.
But it's just not really that funny, and there's some really weird like non-progressive things, and it's like so. For example, Kat Valdez, this big music star, her only fans can be either gay people or women. She can't have any straight fans. Like it's very non-progressive in a like a weird way.
Yeah.
It's just
like it feels like it was written 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's literally 20 years out of date.
It probably was written 20 years ago.
I think it's one of those things that the script's just been kind of
gathering dust.
Yeah.
And also, it could have been a bit more fun if the songs were a bit better, but the songs are because it has an actual original soundtrack to it, like that J-Lo and other cast members sing. But
it's kind of reminded me of an actual fun movie, like that's also very corny and very rom-com kind. That's also about like songwriters and stuff. I don't know if you've ever watched this. It's called Music and Lyrics with Hugh Grant and what's her name, redhead lady from Charlie's Angels.
Well, the original Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, the kid from E.T. What's her name?
The kid from 18.
Mr. T?
E.T.
E.T. Oh, Drew Barrymore.
Oh, right.
Drew Barrymore. There you go. Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant. It's actually very good. It's incredibly tongue-in-cheek. It's incredibly predictable, but at the same time, it pokes fun of a lot of, like, music tropes and, like, so, like, I know you can do this and get a good movie out of it and an entertaining movie out of it. But what you're saying sounds like they just didn't put any effort into it and just did a thing.
Well,
and said, okay, we're good.
Overall, rank it. Give us a solid rating.
I'll give you a 4 out of 10 for this one.
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10 for Marry Me.
Okay.
Maybe just
so we're
I'll
doing
give it
out
a
of 10s.
4 and I won't go any lower than that because I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know actually. That stuff about the. You know what? I'm going to stick with a 4 out of 10. It didn't make me angry. It just bored me. There you go.
Wait till you review next week. Wait until next week.
But Kyle, you have a review for Texas Chainsaw, the new Netflix sequel.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw. Oh, is it just straight up the original title?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the title of the film.
Do you know what they've done? They've just done Halloween 2018.
Well, there you go.
So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original film. Well, I know it came out 50 years ago because they'd like to say that.
Lot, yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen Halloween Kills, was one of the funniest things me and Lewis found when they kept mentioning 40 years ago.
Yeah, because it's literally every second line.
It was. But anyway, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it follows the same premise of the 2018 Halloween, where it gets rid of every sequel, reboot, prequel, even that there's been quite a few.
Oh yeah.
There's been.
But I didn't even realize this first sequel to Texas Chainsaw came a decade after the original.
Oh yeah, it was like a comedy.
The poster is The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the original. So that anyway, basically what happens in this film is that you have a group of 4 people, right? You've got this girl and her sister, and then this guy and his girlfriend. And I honestly, for the life of me, I cannot remember their names, and I don't know if they told me. So I'd like to point out quickly, the runtime for this film is 1 hour 13 minutes.
Okay, so this is brief.
That alone tells you this is not going to be a good time. Okay, so the main character, she's a chef with her pal, right? This the male character, because I can't remember the names. And
woman,
man, we're going to get them up for me. I'm actually able to tell you. But anyway, the idea is that these 4 young adults have kind of bought a town, and they're trying to kind of revamp it. But on their way at the beginning, they come to. So we have Melanie, Lila, Dante, and Ruth.
He literally googled it.
I honestly need to
do not remember the names.
It's a Metacritic score of 36, by the way, which is generous. So Melody and her pal Dante are these chefs who basically bought this town, and they're going to revitalize it. And on their way there, they stop off at a gas station, and this gas station is filled with memorabilia from the original event that happened.
All right.
Kind of mirroring when I first saw it, I was like, because it's got like a almost Netflix style documentary playing in the background, and I was like, this is kind of memeing off the fact they did a podcast in 2018's Halloween talking about the original killings.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw that, and it's like, was he ever found? No, he vanished. Oh, and then they go to this town, and this other guy who's kind of the hillbilly Richard, who was helping out, and he comes in and he's like, "Yep, this is the town that you bought," and they're like, "Oh, we've got this entire bus of potential Gen Z buyers that are going to invest in this town coming. We need to clean it up because there's like a unionist flag flying and all of that. And they go into this one house and it's like an old orphanage, and it is the house from the original Texas Chainsaw. And basically, you find this old woman there, who's very decrepit, and Melody's like, "Oh, we've bought the place. You have to move." And she's like, "Oh, no." And then like she's like, "Oh, I was orphanage here for 50 years."
Oh yeah, seen the 50 years thing.
Yeah, they liked it.
Yeah.
And there's like a figure up in the thing of the big man who's clearly Leatherface, and she's like, "He's the last child to be here for," which doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Because it's maybe 50 years, and he was already like
A big guy.
back then. He'll be old and crippled by now, but anyway. And
Well, it's like a Michael Myers thing, isn't it?
yeah, but no, but Michael Myers was always the idea he was something
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
This
yeah.
one's not. So what happens is that Melody's like, "Oh no, you have to leave," and the old woman has a heart attack and has to get taken out of the hospital, and Leatherface comes with her. She dies in the journey there, and then that just sends Leatherface into like a crazy ass.
Oh, so that's what sets him off.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And he's
Oh,
not
really?
got got a
That's
mask or anything at the moment. There's some like gruesome kill. I say gruesome. There's a lot of CGI blood
Right.
and not amazing CGI blood. And basically, the one
I'm
thing.
disappointed because the one thing I love about slashers is the practical effects.
Yeah, there was one good one, and then there was a lot of them that weren't amazing. And the sister Lila has a really interesting arc where she was a victim of a school shooting.
Oh.
Right?
Right.
That she was
Just so they can put that in there. Cool.
And then
Bold move.
and then like she comes to terms with using an assault rifle to fight off Leatherface. And I'm just kind of like,
I've seen that in another terrible horror movie. I've seen that exact same arc.
Backwards message.
yeah, it was very interesting.
I have seen that exact same arc in a terrible horror movie, and I can't remember which
Wait,
one. But I've seen that exact same arc.
Yeah, well, let me continue. So there's scenes where she's lying on the ground. So it flashbacks to when this character, Lila, I had to keep checking because I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
Is lying down, like, and she's like staring into the other victims in the school, and it like whenever she has to like lie in front of the others, it's all of it. Right, it's a terrible film because there's also no connection to this killer.
Yeah.
Because also they just keep calling him Leatherface because I don't think he has a name.
Yeah.
It's not like Michael,
No,
you know,
it
or
doesn't.
Jason.
Yeah.
You know, Freddy.
Freddy.
Every other one, you know, Norman, you know, every single other person has this kind of connection to them. And then they do
Wasn't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre also like the original one, like trying to take that idea of the corny slasher and make it like dark and serious?
I kind of think so. Honestly,
Wait,
I haven't seen.
Sorry, are you talking about the very first Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah.
No.
No, it was quite.
No,
it was.
very
not the very
serious.
first one. No. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about one of the sequels.
It was
My
quite.
bad, I'm
Oh no,
sorry.
the sequels
Think
are,
I'm thinking
are
of the third
ridiculous.
The second one's a comedy.
It really
They like-
is.
they like
I think
Evil
I'm thinking
Dead.
Of like the.
But anyway, so
I loved Evil Dead.
it is really trying to be serious in this, and there's no. I'm comparing it to Halloween 2018, right? Because I personally think that was done really well.
Oh.
Halloween Kills
So it's
not
like
so
a
much.
bad version of Halloween
Yeah.
2018.
And
Yeah, okay.
what it's like, there's no connection. I mean, you may have to rewatch the original immediately before this, but there was no connection to his mask. He just skinned somebody and put it on. Whereas, like, I'm pretty sure there was like a whole thing of like a subplot of him having to wear a mask because he needed something above it.
So.
But they do the original girl,
Uh,
right? Like Halloween 2018.
yeah, they bring her back.
The original girl's dead. The actress.
Oh, the actress dead?
Yeah, they
my
recasted her
What?
Right.
and brought her back for
No.
10
that's not
minutes.
nice.
Does she do a lot of action stuff in this? Or?
like one action scene,
Uh-huh,
and there's a lot of defying laws of body fluid and like, how you can work, and it's really bad, and it's like clearly it was bad enough to go straight to Netflix,
Yeah.
and not even attempt a theatrical release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the writing's really it's really short, which is the only saving grace because everything happens quickly. And then it's over in a short amount of time. There are some amazing lines in it, and I want to see. I wrote a note down. I think the best line is, I think it's spoiled in the trailer, is because Leatherface makes on this bus with all the potential Gen
Oh, I've
Zs,
seen this.
and then they start recording them, and it's like, do anything, you get cancelled, bro. and I was like, oh, that's cinema right there.
That just immediately ruins any tension in that entire universe.
And in that bus scene,
it just ruined
I'm spoiling
the entire
this film because
that was the thing that they said.
I'm just going to go first because this film doesn't even deserve it. There's a huge bus massacre. He just goes around chainsawing everybody in the bus, and there's so many horrific CGI like chop off bodies, and it's like, it's the fact is it does this weird thing where it's like real up until the blade hits, and then you can just kind of see almost like the change in the fade of the skin, like there's this like color fading change, and it's not smooth enough to make it look like it's real, and then it ends hysterically with a woman driving away. It reenacts the original ending, where the woman drives away. He's like doing that. It's in her Tesla on autopilot, going at least 10 miles an hour. It's the most slow drive off ever. She's like, no, and Leatherface is going with his chainsaw.
So Kyle, solid rating out of 10.
Oh, 1, not a chance. It was absolute garbage. And Lewis, you know how much I hate Halloween Kills, but I rather watch Halloween Kills again. Because Halloween Kills was funny.
That's the first 1 out of 10.
I've
not heard you give a film 1 out of 10.
Yes, you have Halloween Kills.
Well, there you go.
But I mean, I'd rather watch Halloween Kills than this.
The good news, listeners, is that if you're looking for a fun rom-com about the music industry, we've given you a terrible one that just came out, and you can watch Music and Lyrics from lots of years ago. And if you're looking for a good slasher revitalization, you can either watch
Halloween 2018
or you can watch Halloween 2018. So, we might give you reviews of bad movies here, but we always give you a replacement.
Well, we're going to change it up a little bit because we're going to give you a review of a film me and Kel both saw, The Duke.
I love The Duke.
Oh, there we go.
Change of pace. That was a fantastic, fun film.
180. Complete 180.
The Duke, follows, what's his name? Kempton Button, who's this old 60-year-old taxi driver living in Newcastle. And he's kind of like he's also an ambitious screenplay writer, and also as a man who's kind of fighting for social justice. So he kind of, at the beginning of the film, we see him he's fixing his TV, he's trying to change his TV because he doesn't want to be charged for a TV license.
So he takes out the thing that basically receives BBC, because at the time, BBC was the one that
cost the money to get a TV license.
For anyone who doesn't live in the UK or has lived in the UK, you have to pay tax to watch TV in the UK.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unless you do what he did.
Unless you do what he did. So, after that, he's kind of one of these people who's in and out of jail because he's always standing up against the authority figure. He's always kind of fighting, social upheavals, and his whole goal in this film is basically he just wants free TV license for old people and war veterans. That's what he wants. And so what happens is the taxpayer has actually just paid £140,000 to have this picture of the Duke of Wellington up in the Gallery of Modern Art in London.
Yes, but for reference, that was back in the 60s.
Yes,
I think it's equivalent to about £4 million now.
Yeah. So he sees this and is like, oh, that money could have just gone to paying everyone's TV license, and yet we've just paid for this, in his opinion, a terrible painting. And it's actually, to be fair, it's not that great. So he hatches a plan to steal the painting and hold it for ransom. And hopes
this sounds like
it's interesting
the best
because
movie ever.
It's the fact that he goes to London for a different reason, because he's trying to protest the TV license.
Yeah.
And then he ends up just hatching a plan and stealing this painting.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
It is a fun
fun film. And what's it? Helen Mirren.
I know what I'm watching now.
Yeah, Helen Mirren stars as the wife.
Yeah, Dorothy.
And she's
so
incredible in it.
Oh yeah.
Because she's just fed up with him. She's like fed up with his little schemes and his little ploys. And
constantly jumping from job to job. Yeah.
There's
Oh god.
I only have one issue with this film.
Yeah.
Give it a guess. What do you think I didn't like about it?
Is it like the weird kind of comic book editing?
Yeah, it's the comic book editing. It's the Ang Lee comic book editing.
Yeah.
There's only one time it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say why.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it does this weird paneling effect, which I was like,
Yeah.
What?
I know what you mean. Like the Hulk movie did.
Yes, it's exactly
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I going to say? Jim Broadbent as Button is he's such a charming, likable figure in this
He
film.
is.
He's just you warm right up to him, and you just want him to win. And Dorothy, his nagging wife, no, she's more than that. She's also a great kind of partner for him, and just their chemistry is
I have to say,
so funny.
the supporting character of their son.
Their son's great.
Their son is excellent as well.
Can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either. Jackie. Jackie does a fantastic role in it, kind of supporting his dad, and also kind of just the lives of the kind of 1960s Newcastle.
Oh yeah,
Such a fun film.
I should also say the film opens with a whole court case of him. Did he steal the painting, sort of thing?
Oh,
and
so like as a framing device.
Yeah, as a framing
to get
device.
that. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we jump back to the court case later on in the film, and the court case is also kind of the third act climax of the film is also
funny.
Has some great lines, some
So
really funny
funny.
moments, and some.
So it has that kind of like picturesque kind of feeling of just these really like down to earth common people doing these kind of like weird things.
But that's the thing. The main character is just so down to earth and common, and that's what's funny.
Oh yeah.
Like he's never. It's not like they're writing to make jokes. They're just writing in the sense of how this guy would talk, and it come off funny because he's such an honest man, and he's always kind of fighting for the justice. Yeah. That some of the lines that he comes out with are just hilarious. I love this film.
Really?
I really do. It's just an enjoyable film.
It's such a nice.
The film we saw previous before it pushed me down a few pegs, which we'll talk about next week.
The question is this a contender for best comedy for the Lewis Awards this year?
Potentially, yes.
I guess. Halloween Kills is still up there.
Halloween Kills.
Halloween Kills is still winning.
It's going to win every year.
It's going to win. It's just the Halloween Kills award.
I mean, I thought it was a really likable, really nice, wee, film.
It's the best way to describe it. It's nice.
It's a nice
It's
film.
a nice film.
So Kyle, what would you rate it?
This is. I'm going to give it. It's a 7 because it is a nice, good film. Because I don't think the story is simple enough that it's not breaking anything in boundaries.
Yep.
Everything about it is a nice, steady pace. The acting's good. It's a good film. It's a nice, good film. It's a 7.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It doesn't kind of go beyond what it says in the tin. But it's funny. It's charming. It's sweet. It's a 7 out of 10.
Okay, so I have a question for both of you because I haven't seen this film yet. But a thing that I really like to like when I watch films, I think that really sticks with me. It's kind of the message, the main thesis of the film, not just the plot of what happens, but what the film is trying to tell you. What's the message of the film? So, what would be the thesis of this film for you guys?
I guess quite simply, it would just be kind of like look out for the little man. That is kind of what the film is saying. But there's also something else that I can't really give away. But there's also an underlying thing that the family's dealing with. That is also kind of I can't really tell you, but that is the pieces of the film.
I'm just glad you didn't ask me that question about the Chainsaw Massacre because I don't know what to say. Yes, no, very much. It is very much kind of the message is look out for everybody else. Yep. It's not look out for the little guy. It's look out for your neighbor. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, great film.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly go over last film today. The Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy. So this is a Japanese film by Oscar-nominated director now, Ryuki Hamaguchi, who's up for thank you, who's up for Best Director and Best Picture for Drive My Car this year, my personal favourite. And Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy, which actually in Japan is called Chance and Imagination, is 3 short films. So the first one is called Magic or Something Less is Shooting. The second one is Door Wide Open, and the third one is Once Again. So, I guess what this kind of how these all three connect is kind of the story of chance, as it says in the Japanese title. I know, and chance encounters. What are the odds of meeting these people at this point in time, sort of thing, and unrequited love. Really, they're kind of all kind of stories of loves that would have happened in another time or another life, or some different decisions were made, And
Yeah.
actually, the film is really funny. That is actually one of the main
Yeah.
takeaways of it. Is actually a really, really sweet and also sad. Three kind of comedy films. I'd say personally, the second one's my favourite. That story kind of goes into this jealous university student who failed a class and wants to get back at his professor, and so far gets his girlfriend to honey trap the professor, but it goes wrong, and not in a very crazy, like American comedy sense, but in a much sweeter
Human
and
kind of sense.
I guess thought-provoking way. And that's the thing with Hamaguchi. He carries on kind of what he did with Drive My Car. It's very, very dialogue heavy. It's people telling stories. It's very still shots. Things set in one room or one location, and just kind of letting the actors go for it and tell these stories. And it's really good. I mean, to put it simply, I reckon there's at least one of the stories there for everyone. I'd say the first two are my personal favourites, although the third one kind of takes a bit more of a serious route. But yeah, I really, really liked Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy, and Hamaguchi for me is on my radar for one of the best working directors, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm the 2 out of 2. I mean, I've just loved what he's done. I've loved what he's done, and I love the way he approaches films in very human ways.
On par
and
with
very-
Roland Emmerich.
On par with Moonfall.
Yeah.
Oof. I don't know about that one, Kev.
That's true. Nothing can beat Moonfall.
But
We can end with a good one. Let us end
yeah,
with a
let's
good
end
one.
with a good
Apologies.
No, but Wheel of Fortune Fantasy is not. I caught it on the last day it was in cinemas actually, so I don't know where anyone can watch it
Where
right
it'll be
now.
streaming and stuff, yeah.
But yeah,
Thanks for the invite.
But yeah,
sorry.
is
You
it-
were busy actually.
Is it
Okay.
presented as 3 individual short films, or is it presented as kind of like an anthology?
Well, they are kind of connected thematically, in that whole unrequited
with
love
like
sort
the
of way and
theme of
chance encounter thing.
love and like the love having like being dependent on time and moments and stuff.
Yeah, well, some of them especially are very much about that.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of
That's really
it's-
interesting.
for me. Film of the month.
Give it a number.
I'll give it 8 out of 10.
8 out of
for
10?
Wheel of Fortune and
Ooh.
Fantasy.
Damn.
So-
Well, Lewis, you're gonna have to go through his directorial backlog.
Oh, yeah,
and tell us
absolutely.
if there's any hidden gems out there, because you're clearly obsessed with this guy.
I know.
I feel like we're gonna hear a lot more about him.
I
but
really
yeah,
hope so. I
that's
really hope
amazing.
he hits it with more quality content
Yeah.
in the future. But that will kind of wrap up today's show, guys. So thank you very much for joining me on another
you so much.
fantastic episode.
Yeah,
if I must say
no,
so
of
myself. Just
Do
kidding.
you want to give a hint for next week?
And for next week, yes, next week, the three of us will be talking about the new Uncharted film. Hopefully, go in-depth review on that, and also the problem with video game movies.
What do you mean
The
problem?
problem?
Ooh,
Is there a
That's
problem? Is
a
there a
bit of a-
problem? Well, there's
Is
some
there
problems.
a problem? Yeah.
But
Okay,
you know
that's
what,
amazing.
Gonzalo? We'll wait for you to see it. I really am actually looking forward to your opinion.
Thank you so much. I mean, it is an unwanted opinion.
After all,
yeah, there you
someone had to
go.
say it.
Alright, on that note, we'll just end it.
On that note, well, thank you very much, guys. Anything you want to plug, Gonzalo?
We don't have any social media yet.
No, we don't.
No. You can just check out the website at
Yeah,
unwantedopinion.
onwardopinion.net.
Yep.
I will
Yes.
have a bunch of reviews up for the February review roundup, and we'll have another podcast out next week, hopefully. So, thank you very much. Bye-bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye. See you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, what does it?
Okay.
Wait, I need to be on call to you still.
There you go.
I just kind of put that down.
Right, I'm going to press stop button.